Welcome to The Explainer. So, today we're diving into a really fascinating comparison: the incredibly fast brains of AI computers versus our very own, completely unique human minds. Machines can process data at just lightning speeds, right? But as you'll see, we humans still hold some pretty special advantages. Let's jump right in and explore both sides.
Okay, let's look at our roadmap. We're going to start with AI, how fast it's growing, and some of its biggest problems. Then we'll shift over to human psychology. We'll look at what human IQ actually is, some really strange facts about our brains, how to protect them, and finally, the ultimate human advantage. Section 1, AI is growing fast, how machines are getting cheaper and working longer. Now, the year 2026 has brought some absolutely massive changes to artificial intelligence. I mean, just look at how cheap using AI has become. It used to be that something like Claude Opus cost $25 for 1 million tokens, but the newer models, they're basically a fraction of that. Gemini Flash drops all the way down to 60 cents, and DeepSeek V4 Flash just 28 cents. This massive drop in price means pretty much everyone can use AI every single day. Now, this number, 300, tells a pretty wild story about a new AI called Kimi K2.6. Get this. Inside this AI, there are 300 smaller programs or subagents working together at the exact same time, and they work for 12 hours straight. They don't rest. They literally never sleep. Let me give you a concrete example. Meet SemiKong. Now, this AI doesn't write poetry and it doesn't draw pictures. It has one highly specific job. It just helps build computer chips. It's a great example of how AI is becoming super specialized for real-world industries. Moving on to Section 2, AI has big problems. Because, well, the machine brain is not perfect. It's fast, sure, but it definitely still has some major weaknesses. Let's check them out. The road for AI has been pretty bumpy, honestly. Take the ChatGPT 5 updates, for instance. Back in August 2025, the model was slow and honestly gave pretty bad answers. So they started making changes by the end of the year. By April 2026, boom, a new, fast update made things so much better. But then, by June, there were just too many different models, and it completely confused users. Progress is definitely not a straight line. And this brings us to a really interesting concept called model collapse. So AI needs data to learn, right? Historically, it learned from things humans wrote, but now it's starting to read fake data created by other machines. And when this happens, the AI actually gets worse. It degrades. It turns out AI absolutely needs real human information to stay smart. But there are also some pretty big security fears. For example, the US government recently blocked a very smart AI called Fable 5 from Anthropic. Why? Well, people actually found ways to trick the AI into finding secret flaws in computer software. The government saw this as a massive national security risk, so they stopped it. Governments are watching this stuff closer than ever before. All right, Section 3, what is human IQ? We've talked a lot about machines, so now we really need to understand our own brains. So what exactly is it? Well, IQ stands for intelligence quotient. Basically, it's a standardized score you get from tests that measure very specific skills, mostly things like puzzle solving, math, and logic. But remember, it doesn't measure everything. It literally only measures how your brain processes those specific types of test information. Which leads us to a really fascinating question. Does a high IQ actually make you happy? Does being super smart mean you're naturally going to have a better life? Think about that for a second. Section 4, strange facts about IQ. We're going to look at some surprising things we know about smart people, and psychology reveals some really wild truths here. Well, the answer to our question is 0. Yep, 0. There is a 0% link between having a high IQ and being happy. Smart people aren't happier, but they aren't sadder either. A high test score simply doesn't predict happiness at all. Kind of surprising, right? But smart people do share some other pretty surprising traits. First off, they tend to call out those fake deep quotes, words that sound smart but don't actually mean anything. They don't like those. Second, they are very often the firstborn child in their family. Third, they usually think big global problems are just too complex to easily solve. Oh, and fourth, they often wear glasses. Studies actually show a real measurable link between a high IQ and being nearsighted. Moving to Section 5, protecting your brain. Your mind is your absolute most valuable tool, so we need to learn how to keep it strong as we get older. The good news is you can actively protect your IQ. First, get good sleep to let your brain rest. Second, eat healthy food. Third, and this is a big one, check your hearing. Doctors actually link adult hearing loss to a drop in IQ. Fourth, try to avoid head injuries for obvious reasons. And finally, treat high blood pressure because that protects your brain in the long run. These are just simple, everyday actions, but they keep the human mind sharp. Okay, our final section, section 6, the human advantage. Machines might be incredibly fast, but human minds are more important than ever. Let's look at why we are still the ones in charge. Let's just compare them side by side. The machine brain processes data super fast, and it gives quick answers. But the human brain, it takes responsibility. If something goes wrong in the real world, a human has to answer for it. A machine doesn't feel anything, and maybe more importantly, the human brain asks questions. A machine only answers them. It never actually starts the process. And that brings us to this amazing quote. The most important skill is the ability to ask the right questions. Honestly, this is our ultimate human advantage. Machines literally have all the answers now, but answers are cheap. Knowing exactly what to ask, that's the hard part. We have to decide what actually matters. We're the ones who have to guide the machine. So we've explored these blazing fast AI computers, and we've explored the strange, wonderful human mind. And I want to leave you with this final thought today. As AI grows stronger and more capable every single day, what questions will you ask? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning and always keep asking great questions.